everybody's mic on?
I've had no part of the meeting so far.
Welcome to the Town Chambers. I call to order the Town Council regular session. The time is 7:33 and the date is Monday, June 23rd. If we could please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Was that Margaret? Thank you. Could we please have the roll call, Dale?
Council President Whaley.
Here.
Council Vice President McAtee. Here. Councilwoman Healy.
Here.
Councilman O'Neill.
Here.
4 members present. Councilman Donnelly is absent.
Just wanted to let the public and the town council know that Councilman Paul Donnelly did call me. He is not feeling well tonight. So we're wishing him, hope he feels better. We have the approval of the minutes of previous meetings. We have the work session of June 9th, 2014.
I move approval of those minutes. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries 400. We also have the regular session of June 3rd and June 9th.
I move approval of those minutes. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. We also have the closed executive session of June 3rd, 2014.
I move approval of those minutes.
I second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Would any council, man or woman, like anything removed from the consent agenda?
Hearing none, I move approval.
H.R. Whaley, consent agenda M.
What page is that, please?
Last page.
There's no numbers on it. 9, I'm sorry.
Yes, what's your question?
Question is, I was here at the last meeting and I questioned the total number of liquor licenses that were in use. And my question is this are these additional licenses in use or up for whoever wants them?
They are not additional. I think it was an error.
Right. It's just a correction in...
In other words, all 28 licenses at the moment, somebody has?
Somebody
or-
has them, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying. Okay, the consent agenda.
I move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Brings us to licenses. The first one is a resolution granting a holiday sales license to AGT Food Mart, 3471 Kingston Road, West Kingston, Rhode Island. The application is by Sheng Shen, 228 Greenwood Drive, Wakefield, Rhode Island. This is new and continued from June 9th. Is Sheng Shen here, or anyone to speak on AGT Food Mart? He's been notified. So,
Re-notify.
okay. So we will continue it?
Continue it to the next meeting.
Okay.
And re-notify AGT Food Mart.
Okay. Second license is a resolution granting a holiday sales license to Eloquence Jewelers Limited Liability Corporation, 36 South County Commons Way, Unit C1, Wakefield, Rhode Island, subject to approval by the Fire Chief and Communications Superintendent. And the application is by Daniel G. Lance III, 5849 Post Road, East Greenwich. Welcome.
Hi.
Daniel?
Yes.
Okay, welcome. If you could tell us
Thank
a
you.
little bit about Eloquence Jewelers
It would be fine jewelry retail.
and your hours of operation.
Hours of operation for the holidays or for permanent?
You could give us both. Right now, you have the
Right now,
cameras running, and you can talk about
Right
your
now,
business.
okay, right now, the hours of retail fine jewelry sales would be from 10 in the morning until 6 in the evening. Holiday hours would probably extend till 8 o'clock at night.
Okay, so Monday through Friday? any-
Probably 7 days a week during the holidays, which would be mainly December.
Okay, closed on Sundays?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Friday, Monday through Saturday. Okay, questions? Carol?
Daniel, your business used to be Adornment Jewelry, is that correct?
That's correct.
You're the new owner.
I am the new owner. I basically, I took over I made a purchase of all the fixtures and the remaining inventory, and I changed the name to Eloquence. Eloquence has been in business for about 15 years up in East Greenwich, Rhode Island,
Oh, very good.
where it remains. We have 3 locations now.
Oh, wow, where's your third location?
We also have a boutique on Main Street in the center of town.
Oh, very nice.
Great. Any other questions? Okay, could we have a motion, please?
I move approval of new license B.
Second.
We have a second, ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries 400, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. The third license on the agenda tonight is a resolution granting a miscellaneous permit to conduct the Wakefield Festival Fete on Main Street between Kenyon Avenue and Robinson Street on Saturday, October 4th, from 10 to 5 to the Downtown Merchants Association, now known as the Wakefield Village Association, subject to the execution of a hold harmless agreement indemnifying the town, issuance of a certificate of insurance for Festival Fete that names the town as an additional insured for the event in the amount specified by the Risk Manager, Traffic and Transportation Committee approval, and Rhode Island Department of Transportation approval. Application by Joan Dwyer, 315 Main Street, Wakefield, Rhode Island. Is anyone here to speak on Festival Fete? Hello, if you could
Hi.
just state your name for the record, please.
My name is Jan Burtwell from Finishing Touches. And my name is Pilar Brenner from Festival Fete.
Okay, I'm not quite sure I got the names. I'm sorry. Could you just, Jen?
Jan.
Jan.
J-A-N. Burtwell.
Is it B-U-R?
B-E-R.
B-E-R.
W-E-L.
Thank you. And then I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Pilar, P-I-L-A-R, Brenner, B-R-E-N-N-E-R.
Thank you so much. Okay, if you could just tell us a little bit about Festival Fete.
So this is a continuation of last year, our renewal license. We had it last year on the 5th of October, 10 to 5. We had about 142 vendors. We had help from the police department shutting down, helping with traffic control and monitoring crowd, probably around 4,000 people say in attendance. 4,000 to 6,000 was our estimate. And I have the records from last year. I don't know off the top of my head what we insured the town for, but we would do the same as last year.
So are you two going to be running the Festival Fete?
I'm in charge of Festival Fete, but she is helping.
The Wakefield Merchants.
Jan, right.
Jan owns the
But Pilar-
frame shop.
Yes.
Right.
In
But
town.
Pilar, you took the business over from the woman that ran Festival Fete last year?
Correct.
Okay. I've heard a lot about you. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. I did run Wakefield last year. I'd taken it over before, so this will be
Okay.
my second time with Wakefield.
All right, good. Questions? Carol?
Are you with the same group that ran the Garden City festivals? Because
Yep.
the lady who came last year, I don't
Jennifer
recall her
Nugent,
name.
yeah.
But she was talking about the Garden City Festival and different festivals that
Yeah,
you
we
ran
have
around.
about.
the state.
let's see, This year we have Thayer Street. We just got Thayer Street, actually. That'll be the weekend prior to this. We have Newport this week,
Oh,
this weekend. Emerald Square in
Oh, nice.
Attleboro, and then Wakefield. So it'll be 4 this year. And then we do a holiday market. Last year we did it at Rhodes on the Patuxent, but.
oh. And Jan, the Merchants Wakefield Village Association, excuse me, I keep using the old name, but the businesses are all in favor of this.
Oh, yes,
Great.
definitely, definitely. We had Nothing but positive feedback last year.
Right. No, it was a good, very good event last year, and we wish you a lot of luck this year, too. I'm sure it'll be even better. Since people came last year, they'd probably come again and bring their friends.
Definitely.
Sounds good. Other questions?
I just want to tie into that because I read so much positive feedback that was in the local press last year about the event. It was handled extremely well. So I know Joan was here last year. She's not here, unfortunately, tonight. But if you're taking over the helm and the two of you are doing it, carry on with her tradition because she did a bang-up job. She was great. It was really a nice event.
Jim?
You'll be using the parking lot for displays and tents?
Yeah,
As
we
well
did
as the street.
We closed off, I'd say 90% of the parking lot last year. The only places that we couldn't have access to were the parking spots directly behind the building. And then that we left open for a fire lane. So where the natural food, the co-op is coming down, and then, but along the water, and then we had 2 rows of booths going up the middle.
Okay, great, thank you.
And Steve? October 4th, the back parking lot where the facility behind All That Matters, that will be open, won't it, by October 4th?
We're hopeful that it's going to be open at that period. One of the requirements was there's a number of parking lots that the organizers need to be in contact with to get assurances as to the parking spaces. But yes, we expect both of those lots to be available. The east lot may in fact still be encumbered with construction equipment on the back line, but a certain portion of it will be open.
Yeah. Is it open now? I know that somebody said they were putting in the lights and wires and...
It's open most days. What we do is we provide the downtown merchants with usually 24 to 48-hour notice as to those days that we're going to have it closed off, where we've got heavy equipment in there operating. But most days it's open, and the only thing that's limited is the back line closest to the river is occupied with the construction equipment.
Thank you. All right. Sounds like a plan. Yeah, any other questions here at the town council table? Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
I move approval of new license C.
Second?
Motion and second. Ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries 400. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll see you there.
Okay, I'm just going to make sure that that person didn't show up for AGT Food Mart before we move on. Nope, okey-doke. Okay, we have our public hearing. This is a public hearing. It is continued from May 27th, 2014, relative to an application for expansion of a license to keep and sell alcoholic beverages in South Kingston in accordance with the general laws of 1956 as amended. And I do believe that we have Julie to talk about this. Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
You
I'm
could
here.
just state your name, sorry, Julie.
Okay. Julie Safford. I'm the general manager at the Chop House Grill. I'm here representing Charlie Samaras, who would like to ask for a continuance on this because he has not fulfilled the requirement of meeting with the zoning board, which he plans to do on September 17th. And he would also like to be on the docket for the town council meeting, the one directly after that.
September 22nd.
Thank you.
Julie, do you have, you received a letter from the zoning board that states you're on the docket for September 17th?
Yes.
Okay.
Right, we talked about this in the work session, and when we make the motion, we're just going to just ask for a few things, which Carol will make the motion for.
Okay.
Re-notifying the abutters, and so let me just,
I think we should ask if anybody's here for this.
that's what I'm going to get to right now. Is there anybody here that wanted to speak on this issue tonight? I know the last meeting, not the last meeting, the meeting before, there were a couple of people. So nobody's here to speak on the Chop House Grill for the public hearing. Okay, so we're going to continue it.
Okay.
And in our motion, we will
Yeah.
just have a few stipulations.
Julie, the motion, I'm going to move that we continue the public hearing for the Chop House Grill liquor license expansion to September 22nd, but that will be contingent upon the Chop House notifying the neighbors and a new two advertisements in the paper, I believe? Re-advertising the public hearing in the newspaper. That's a requirement so that the neighbors and the public will know that it's coming up again.
Okay, is that something that will be, Charlie will be notified about, or is that something that
Yes, the clerk's
you will
office
notify him?
will
I mean,
notify-
I will obviously tell him as well, but just for the record so that he knows. Okay. Perfect.
And if he has any changes to his site plan, he needs to resubmit those.
Okay.
Obviously, he'll have to do it even for the zoning board if he changes it. So,
Correct.
So we're going to take that as a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion before we take this vote? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries 400. Thank you, Julie, for coming.
Thank you very much.
Second public hearing is a public hearing for the purpose of reviewing the proposed program year 2014 Small Cities Community Development Block Grant Application and Local Priority List. As shown on Exhibit 1 attached here too, the town is eligible to apply for $250,000 in funds for the purpose of undertaking activities which will result in the following benefit to low and moderate income families and individuals. And the first is provision of activities which may include any of the below, consistent with Community Revitalized Plan. The second is provision of the improvement of housing opportunities. The third is provision of employment opportunities. Number 4 is the provision of community facilities improvements, and the fifth is provision of services. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Alford, and later on, we will give some of the applications, the people that applied for the applications, a chance to speak. Mr. Alford.
This is the second of 2 public hearings for South Kingstown preparing an application for the Small Cities Community Development Block Grant Program. The first hearing was conducted by the council on May 27th. At that meeting, the council advertised to organizations of the availability of the pending grant application development and solicited those various groups that met the criteria as spelled out in the program and read this evening by Mrs. Whaley into the record. To submit applications for consideration. Subsequent to the receipt of those applications, and I would direct people to Exhibit 1 of the agenda tonight, which shows the local priority list that staff has prepared. This priority list has also been reviewed with the planning board, and they have signed off that it is in compliance with the town's comprehensive community plan. In terms of background information, CDBG for this year is a federal program that will give Rhode Island approximately $5 million. New rules have been set up for this grant program. The $5 million is not being made available to all cities and towns. There has been 2 set-asides of the $5 million. 10% has been set aside for those projects that are associated with homelessness activities, and 25% has been set aside for affordable housing measures. Those can be applied for separately outside of the town process. This evening, while the limit is $250,000 that we can apply for, we will be applying for $300,000 because activity number 3, Kenyon Avenue Permanent Supportive Housing, would come from the affordable housing set-aside. That will be a separate application that we'll be filing on that agency's behalf. That allows us to have $300,000 where the limit as municipal programming is limited to the $250,000. I know that there's a number of agencies here this evening that wish to make comments. I'll stop at this point and then address any of the agencies that are not discussed by people from the floor.
At this time, I'm just going to see if there's any questions from the town council before I open it. Okay, so I'll take it step by step. Is there anyone here from South Kingstown Housing Rehabilitation? Johnny Cake, welcome.
How are you all tonight? I'm Lisa Wright. I'm the Deputy Director of the Johnny Cake Center. I just wanted to come and thank you guys so much. The town just gives us such tremendous support, and we really depend on it. This year, we're requesting a grant from the Community Development Block Grant Program of $20,000 to purchase food for our emergency food pantry and our school vacation meal programs. The budget that we have entirely for food this year is currently $80,000, so we depend tremendously on the Community Development Block Grant to help us with this. Last year, we bought or provided enough food to families in the community for almost 203,000 meals, so quite a bit. And it was an increase last year of 7,300 meals over the year before, so we just saw a slight uptick, which was not exactly what we wanted, but we were able to cover it. As of the end of May, we have currently 1,198 active clients from South Kingstown who are enrolled with us for help. It's about 74% of all the people that we serve. And just this year, we've had 52 new households come to us from South Kingstown for assistance. And we've got more coming in the last couple of weeks to sign up for our school vacation meal program for the summer. I don't know if you have any questions other than that. I just want to thank you guys again for all you do for us.
Lisa, we thank you and all of the staff over there.
Thank you.
It's unbelievable the work that goes on at the Johnny Cake Center, so big thanks to you and, you know, Susan, the board, everyone.
Thanks very much. I'll
Yeah.
take that back.
Thank you. Okay, next is the Kenyon Avenue Permanent Supportive Housing.
Hi, good evening. My name is Linda Ward. I'm the Executive Director of Opportunities Unlimited. Some of you may remember that this has had a long travel. We were awarded the 811 money to develop this project in 2010, and we finished the legal battle in 2013. Meanwhile, our HUD money we were in danger of losing it, so it was used for another project. The plan is, we have about 50% of the funding we need in place right now to develop this. This is a former group home for people with developmental disabilities. We have approval to develop it into 6 units of housing, 2 fully accessible, 1 2-bedroom unit, and the other's 1 bedroom. We have approximately 5 or 6 people already who want these apartments, 3 or 4 of whom are from this area, who are from South Kingston. One has had to move to North Kingston temporarily and wants to come back home. And it's the families who, through the very long process over the last 3 years or so, who have kept us really motivated. They really want their families to stay in their community. And the town has been extremely supportive during our very long journey.
I'm really thrilled about this. I do a lot of work for people with disabilities, and I was just reading through my packet, you know, just thrilled. So, could you talk a little bit about the application process for people with disabilities, just so that the cameras will know? Hopefully there's...
Folks with developmental disabilities usually are found eligible for funding through the State Department of Behavioral Health Care, Developmental Disabilities in Hospitals, and if they're going to need services. There may be folks who live in these apartments who are pretty capable folks and will need minimal. There is not an expectation that there will be 24-hour supports on that property. These are very capable individuals who will have a lot to offer to the community and will be able to take advantage of the main street of Wakefield, which is just wonderful. We as an organization have been around, this is our 18th year. I've been in the field for 39 years. We have an 811 in Pawtucket. That's where we're using our money. We're about 90% on that, and that was an abandoned property that we rehabbed. It was a total gut, and it is absolutely gorgeous, and the neighbors are thrilled that we've taken this abandoned property and turned it around. We own 7 other properties that serve as housing for folks, whether as a group home or for independent living. So basically, we'll be following, ideally 30% of income. We'll try to follow some of those guidelines in terms of the rent and that. We are not sure if we'll be the property manager. In Pawtucket, we are not. We have a property management company. We're not at that point yet, obviously, so.
And the projected, if all this goes through, the projected timeframe?
I'm looking to Chris. What's the projected timeframe?
Full occupancy, I believe, is going to be August 2015.
Thank you, Chris.
Have you started construction yet,
No.
Linda? No?
No.
So you're
No,
planning
we
on-
have plans, we have all the, all the approvals. We're just waiting to have the rest of the funding in place.
Oh, okay. So will this do it, or how much more?
No, then we've also applied, I keep looking to Chris because it's really hard for me
Come on
to
up, Chris.
keep track between Pawtucket and this one sometimes.
Chris, if you could just state your name for the record, please.
Christopher Gentile. I'm from Barbara Sokoloff Associates, and we're a housing consultant to Opportunities Unlimited. We have currently applied for home money for your funding. We have received threshold funding of $400,000. We're also going to apply to the state BHRI, which is Building Homes Rhode Island, and that's also with CDBG. They're splitting the funds there. So essentially, with all those sources, we will get it funded. It's $875,000 total project budget right now. So.
So you still got some applications.
Yes, there
that
are.
you have to
there are
do when you're
applications that
awaiting
have been
funding.
Submitted the home application, and there's an application to Building Homes Rhode Island that's due at the end of this month. And we're going to submit that.
But you said you thought it would be ready, what was the date, 2015?
We'll have occupancy. That's the projected construction.
What month?
August.
Oh, August of 2015.
Good.
It's exciting. Other questions here? Jim?
Who in fact does own the property right now?
We have a purchase and sales on the property, which will not be executed until we have all the funding. It was not, we have no intention of running it as a group home. The state of Rhode Island is getting out of the business of group homes and into more independent living. So this is not something we would want to own if we couldn't develop it. Not that we don't love the area, but it just would not be, it's an old Victorian. It's a ton of rooms, so.
Yeah, were all the units going to be in the main house, or was it going to be one in that back accessory building?
Two will be in what we call the carriage house, which was
All right.
the converted garage.
Carriage
Those are the
house,
two
okay.
accessible units.
All right, okay, great, thank you.
Other questions here at the table? Okay. Seeing none, we wish you the best of luck.
Thanks.
Keep us posted somehow, this town council, all right? Thank you. Next is the Welcome House. Anyone here from the Welcome House? We have two. It is the operating expenses for $12,000 and the facilities rehabilitation for $14,500. Okay, we have the Domestic Violence Resource Center of South County. Thunder Mist, Washington County Community Development Corporation. Welcome.
Hi, did you say Thundermist?
I did.
Hi, good
Hi,
good
how are you?
afternoon. Madam President, council members, my name is Lauren Nocera. I'm the Associate Vice President of Program Development at Thundermist. We're thrilled to be here tonight. We have two proposals in front of you today. One is for our equipment for our new facility that we're currently building on our current location over on River Street. That facility will be in operation this fall. It's got 18 exam rooms in it, and we're asking for your support for 3 of those exam rooms. As a point of note, Narragansett Town Council approved 2 exam rooms of CDBG funding to be requested from the state, so they're also in support of this application.
That's another exciting
Are there any
journey
questions
here.
about the capital or our facility?
Sure. How's
Carol?
the building coming?
It's awesome. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I
It's-
drive
it's,
by it, so when do you expect to be open?
Probably about
building.
November.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The progress looks great over there.
Yes.
Yeah, we're really thrilled. The other exciting news is that we've hired a full-time physician for that facility. As you may have seen in the application, we have a current wait time for new primary care patients, 4 to 6 months. We were very excited to recruit the chief resident from Brown's Family Medicine Program. He'll be starting September 1st. We've also secured another full-time provider that will be starting August 1st. So we got to get the building open so they've got enough room to practice.
Nice new digs, right?
Absolutely.
And demolition of the old building, when will that take place? After you open the new building in
Yeah,
November?
after we open the new building, I'd have to get back to you with an exact date.
Yeah, I don't really need that.
Okay.
All right, this is exciting and another great opportunity for our community. So
Thank
thank
you.
you for all of the work that Thunder Miss does. Would you like to speak about the second?
Sure. So we're absolutely thrilled to submit this application as well. This application is a healthy food access application. It's in partnership with several other organizations, including the Town Senior Center. We're really excited to be working with them on the senior population. Our goal is to increase access to healthy food as your Healthy Places by Design committee had recommended through a variety of methods, including working in partnership with the farmers markets to try and increase access for low-income people.
Fabulous. Questions here at the Town Council table?
Thanks.
Thank you, Lauren. All right, is there anyone from the Washington County Community Development Corporation? Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Jerry Bertrand. I'm the manager at the Washington County Community Development Corporation. It is a nonprofit organization that does affordable housing in all of Washington County and two towns in Kent County, which is East Greenwich and West Greenwich. I wanted to start by thanking you all for the support that you've given to Washington County Community Development in the past years. And we're here again asking for operating funds for Washington County Community Development. Related to South Kingstown, this year we did 2 Fair Housing Act forums for the benefit of all the towns of Washington County as part of their CDBG annual compliance requirements. So each town planner is taking credit for that in terms of that, but we did that in partnership with WARM and with Welcome House and with the Rhode Island Coalition for the Homeless. Those were our partners in putting on these forums. Those were done in May. We also are working on a low-income housing tax credit program, which would involve 40 properties, of which 40 units, of which 10 units would be from within South Kingstown at 422 Main Street, excluding commercial property at that site. And we also are working with Rhode Island Housing to recoup a foreclosure property at 25 Tupelo Road in Matunic. And we are also the authorized agency for Sandy Disaster Relief Funds for Washington County from Senator Jack Reed's office and the state. And we do have one property that we filed an application for in South Kingstown that we're going to do remediation to the tune of about $50,000 in removing trees and tree stumps and repair of the home so that it's in building code compliance. And we have, right now we serve nine residents in South Kingstown. We sold the house last year in the Warden's Pond area. That's it.
Good things happening, Jerry. Thank you. Questions here at the Town Council table? Carol?
Jerry, The remediation that you just discussed, is that being occupied by a resident who
Yes, it
owns
is.
the property?
Yes, it is.
So you're just helping them get into compliance?
We have the Sandy Disaster Relief funding for low-income housing, for homeowners, low-income homeowners only. So if it's in, it's westerly Narragansett, South Kingstown, it really was impacted by the Sandy Disaster Relief. Unfortunately, we can't advertise as to, the funds that we have. It's pretty close to like $3 million.
Wow.
But because it's run by the state, so they're the ones who can, they're the only ones who can advertise that
But you
those
can
funds are
only
available.
assist
So
low-income families who need
yeah, so if they
assistance
come
from
to
Sandy.
the town and ask for assistance, they should be
Send them to
directed
you,
to us.
right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
we have only 3 applications right now, but
really?
yeah, 2 in Westerly and 1 in South Kingstown.
And what would be the income limit that you would be able to accept?
It's the homeowner.
The homeowner's income?
Whoever lives in the home.
So,
you know,
but there
they're-
has to be a low
So it's
income?
this one is a single parent,
Mhm.
has 2 kids in the home. And their insurance is actually going to be canceled.
Oh,
If
wow.
we don't remediate this house.
Oh, very good.
Okay?
What kind of remediation are we talking about?
Uh,
Mildew,
there's almost,
water damage?
$17,000 to $20,000 worth of tree damage on the property, and some of it landed on the fencing and the house. So we're going to have to redo the roof. Probably going to put a new heating system, upgrade all the electrical in the house. So the funds are can extend to remediation of the house up to building code standards. So we can't buy them appliances or anything like that, but we can remediate the electrical system, and they have electric heat in the house, so it's pretty cold.
And is there an application process that if they contact the town manager or somebody in the town hall, that
Yes.
an application they get from you, Jerry?
They
From-
talk to Vinnie
From
or
Vin, great.
Mr. Alfred.
All right, hopefully we'll get some more applications.
Yes,
That'd be
thank you.
great, thank you. Anyone here from South County Community Action Daycare? Education Exchange, I know they're here. Hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm Allison Robinson, the Program Director of the Education Exchange. I want to thank you for your previous support of our mission. It's a good one, I think. We support adults who are underemployed, unemployed, or just want to improve their job skills. And mostly our focus is on earning the GED and their high school equivalency. Something that's happened over the past year is the GED has changed to computer-based testing, and it's become harder. So we need support in providing more teachers to be able to service the students more effectively. And just a little anecdote, we've had 5 people pass the new GED, which is kind of a big deal. There's only been 60 in the state, and 3 of them are from South Kingstown, so I thought you'd like to hear that. And we just appreciate your continued support, and thank you very much. Do you have questions?
I'm just going to start by saying I had the privilege of attending the Education Exchange graduation, and it was so beautifully done, and I don't think there was a
Thank you.
dry eye in the house.
Yes, thank you.
And the stories that were shared, it's just amazing,
It is.
the work that you do, so
Thank you very
my
much.
hat's off. Carol?
Allison, how many did you graduate this year? I thought it was a big class.
It was a big class. Who actually attended the graduation was 22, but we had over 60.
Wow.
So, and actually, for the year, we serviced 60 students from South Kingstown in general. You're our biggest town that we serve. And of course, we're housed here, so that helps. But one of our telling stories was a South Kingstown resident, Paula. So, yeah.
And it was ages 16 to 60, I believe, that graduated.
That's great.
And the first person to pass the computerized GED was 56 years old. So, I just want people to know, don't be scared of it. So.
I know that a lot of your program, you try and gear them also towards going to the CCRI.
Yes,
Isn't
we have
that
our
part of it?
Transitions to College program as well. So you can either go through our GED program and kind of make that progression to the next level, or you can, haven't tried college, but you have a high school diploma, and you can join us as well. So it just really provides a safety net for someone who wants to go to CCRI and is just, doesn't know what to do, fill out financial aid forms, and, they don't have that guidance counselor working with them straight out of high school, so.
So how many of them who graduated do you think are going to continue on?
We've had 3 people interested already, and actually 2 of our graduates, because we did a graduation for the whole year, so we had people who got their GED in December who have already finished Transitions to College. So they graduated, but have also already started CCRI. And that was we just put 10 people through. I'd say half the class have recently got their GED. So.
Very good.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
I did have a question today from somebody looking at the transition to college. Will that be open, available in September or December?
It's going to be January. We do it semesters. So, yes, so tell them to call us for sure.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
How many
Meg?
employees do you have that work there?
Well, we have all part-time teachers, and our teachers are predominantly retired individuals who just love to teach. So teachers-wise, part-time, we have 7, and then we have 2 administrative staff, including myself, and actually Kate, who's here today, too. So, we're small.
Other questions? Jim?
Yeah, no question, but quite impressive, the front page photo of Reverend
thank
Dooley.
you.
It's never too late, and that's what you're all about, which
It
is
is.
absolutely fabulous. It says nearly 70 students awarded GED high school
Yes.
credentials from the Education Exchange, and that's phenomenal. And that's probably also why this council in this past year increased our financial
Yes, and thank you so
assistance to
much.
you from $2,500, I think, to $3,500.
Yes.
So there's quite a jump, and obviously it proves to be money well spent.
It is. I came from public education recently, and I find adult ed one of the most fulfilling things because people want to be there, and they want to do it. So,
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you for coming, Kate. Hello. Okay, is there anyone here to speak on RICAN? How about Rhode Island Center for Law and Public Policy?
Good evening. Thanks for allowing for me to the opportunity to address you. My name is Jeff Schuss. I'm president of the Rhode Island Center for Law and Public Policy. For those of you who don't know, we are a nonprofit legal services organization. We primarily target low and modest income folks. We have a number of ways that we deliver our services, but one of the ways that we do is by partnering with already extant community agencies to work through them as a host, if you will, to service their membership and their clientele. So we have literally followed Terry Murphy down to South Kingston from Cranston, and she has allowed us to go into the senior center and service the elder population of this city and this town, rather. Last year, we serviced 79 individuals on a multitude of legal issues. Normally, it's about 2.5 legal issues per client, so we'll give you an idea of what that is. That's up from 66 the year before and 52 the year before that. Currently, up through June 3rd, we're already at 45. I know that we've been at the center since that last count, so figure another 5 to 7. We've been adding additional weeks or additional hours per visit. We're there twice a month on a regular office hour visit. This funding would help us continue in that mission and make life a little easier for us, to help make life a little easier for those that we serve. So I'd be happy to answer any questions the council might have.
Any questions here on the table for Jeff? Carol?
Jeff?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there, I see that you did 82% of your clients were seen at South Kingstown Senior Center, and they receive pro bono services.
That's correct.
Do you ever get paid can they pay you on a sliding scale?
We do. The other 18% in that instance would have been on a sliding fee scale. So under our IRS aegis, we're able to service up to 300% of FPL. And one of the reasons for that when I created the organization was that there was this whole cohort of folks who didn't ordinarily qualify for the normal, if you will, low-income services, Rhode Island Legal Services Volunteer, so on and so forth. But didn't have enough money to go and find providers through the traditional market. So ultimately, what I found in private practice, where a lot of these people were going without, they just didn't feel like they had anywhere else to go. So one of the things that we wanted to do is to at least offer some services on a reduced fee basis to those people who otherwise wouldn't seek out services. So is that responsive?
Yep. And do you provide any other services besides the ones that you put on here, debt collecting, fair housing issues, end-of-life planning, small estate, probate, guardianship matters, any other matters like
No,
family law
that's
issues?
sort of, well, we get education issues. We do have some employment, unemployment, public benefits defense. So public benefits encompasses a broad array of issues, anywhere from food stamps denial to unemployment denial to Social Security, SSI, SSDI, Medicare, so on and so forth. So there are all these little subsets within the broad categories. So
Right.
I think the shorter list is we don't do contested divorce, we don't do bankruptcy, we don't do complex litigation, and we definitely never do criminal. So, is that responsive?
Thank you, yes.
Okay.
Other questions here at the town council table? Seeing none, we thank you
Thanks so much
very
for the
much.
opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. The next one is the Community Housing Land Trust. And the last one, I believe, is the Cornerstone Adult Services Operating Expenses. Anyone here from the Cornerstone? All right. Seeing none, I just want to personally say that this is one of my most favorite nights, being on the town council. And hopefully the public is listening and tuning in tomorrow night. So many wonderful things happening. Any other questions here from the town council before we make the motion? Steve, I'm going to go back to you.
Yeah, just a couple of comments. One is that it is just an application at this point. The dollar amounts that we have here are what's being proposed for the distribution if the 250,000 plus 50 over is approved. It's also important to note that what we've got is a ranking showing projects 1 through 15 in a prioritized order. This is going to go up to the state, and the state is going to make final decisions, and they will have the ability, or do have the ability, to restructure the local priorities, provided that they meet one of the national objectives. Normally, we'll see on a last year of a target of 300,000, I think we received about 250,000. Some years it's been as low as 130 to 150. Other times it's been much higher. So it all depends on how our application stands against the other applications that are received. But we would, at the staff level, recommend the council approve the priority list as presented and endorsed by the planning board.
Steve, can you just give me a time frame on when we expect to hear back?
There really isn't a time frame at this point. This is the first year that the application process has really been delayed by, I think, 2 months. Normally, we would, with that 2 months advance, we would usually get notice sometimes in July and sometimes as late as September. So I would think the earliest we're probably going to hear is probably sometime in September.
Great, thank you. Okay, can we have a motion, please?
I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries 400.
I move that we authorize the filing of the fiscal year 2014 Small Cities Community Block Grant Program application for an amount not to exceed $300,000, inclusive of an over-the-cap request of $50,000 and in accordance with the local priority list as shown on Exhibit 1 attached here too.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Ready to vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries 400. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for everyone. Next item on the agenda is Communication C. This is a communication dated June 17th, 2014, from Stephen O. Stewart, former commission member, requesting that the Saugatucket Veterans Memorial Park Commission be reestablished in order to compile and certify additional names for inscription on the memorial is received, placed on file, and the town council further directs. And I didn't know if you wanted to say a few words, Steve. We did talk about this in the work session, and
good evening. Back when I believe it was Tony Gurriello was the president of the town council, I came to one of the meetings and I said, Tony, what are we going to do about the monument? It's a disgrace. We should do something about it. He says, Steve, would you be interested in serving on a commission? I said, yes, I would. And so we worked from that point on. And as you can see, we have the ceremony down there at Saugatucket Park twice a year, and that's the accumulation of our work. So I would like to have the commission reestablished so we can include all the names of all the conflicts from Vietnam forward. We'd have to advertise this. We would have to make phone calls just like we did before. And it takes a lot of work, but it's certainly worth it because it's a veteran's name that goes on there. And we're very proud of the Saugatucket Park. And does the council have any questions for me?
any questions here at the town council table?
So, yes.
Carol?
Steve, the last commission was 7 members, but we're asking for 5 this time. Is that agreeable with you, 5 members on the committee?
Yes, the reason we're asking for only 5 this time is because there's no site planning, there's no going out for bids on the granite like we did before, the flag, that kind of stuff. And plus it's a smaller group of people. Mm-hmm. The last time it was like World War II, it was Korea, it was Vietnam, it was a lot of names. So I don't think we feel we need to have that many this time.
So how would you go about gathering the names? You're going to advertise and hope that people come forward?
Yes, definitely advertise. Mm-hmm. What we did last time was we went in the vault and we looked through the DD 214s, and some people we knew were from this area, but they didn't have the 214, so we scoured around, we find out where they were, and it took a lot of work, but it paid off.
And they have to be a South Kingstown resident at the time they enlisted and at the time of the conflict?
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
And they have to have served in a war or a conflict, a recognized
conflict.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Steve, did you get that last question clarified?
They would not.
I'm sorry, yeah, right.
You said in a conflict, they could be stateside and
yes,
they would
that's
still
correct.
be entitled to placement. They would not have to have actually gone to a foreign theater.
Oh.
That's correct. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay, I just wanted that clarified.
Yeah, thank you.
No, well, it says service is and was honorable during time of war or conflict. So, that's what, right. We're talking about war or conflict, that they have to have served in either a war or a
That's
conflict.
correct. What there are stated periods, dates for each of the different conflicts. There are individuals that will have been sworn into the military from South Kingstown that stayed stateside during their tour of duty.
Oh, I understand that.
And what Steve was saying initially, which was that they would have to be served in the conflict, and it's really a service during a conflict.
That's correct.
Right.
Thank you.
It says during, right. Okay. And where would you, the membership in this commission that we would appoint, you had certain veterans groups that you wanted each representative to come from.
That's correct.
And that was the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the American Legion, the VVA 325, and
one citizen,
What? A
one
citizen.
resident.
In
Also,
the VFW Ladies Auxiliary.
And the ladies auxiliary, thank you.
Okay.
Jim?
Yeah, Steve,
Yes, sir.
are there other potential organizations that we should at least advertise to see if they have an interest beside those 5?
Not that I'm aware of in town, no veterans groups that I know of, except for the 3 we mentioned, that I know of.
Okay, and then for our Steve Alfred, to reestablish this commission, is it currently just dormant? Does this require a charter change, or is this something the council can just?
No, I think what we would do if the council requested is to place a scope of service on the next agenda of the council. You would then be able to adopt the scope of services and be able to make the appointments once each of those organizations gave you a name. And what we would do is we would have Dale contact each of the organizations and ask them by a specific date to get us a name that the council could take under consideration.
Right.
And also the council would need to determine what the citizen rep would be that they would want to. But I think the easiest way for us would be to put down what the scope would be. I'd also suggest that we probably set up a term so that we could keep this as an active group rather than, I mean, this was last done in 1995. I do want you to also recognize that the work of the committee will be to certify the names. The committee will then come back to the council and ask for direct appropriation for the cost associated with the engravement of the names on the monument. So they will be back as far as financial supports once the committee has completed its work.
Okay, thank you.
So my understanding is that the process will be 2 advertisements in the paper. Is that correct, Steve? Or Dale? And then when the names are all certified, the names will be printed in the paper to make sure all the spellings are correct.
At least,
And
yeah.
then, you know, I know one woman had written me a letter, and she's going to be thrilled that this has all taken place. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
Steve, how
Yes,
long
Carol.
do you think this would take to gather all the names the updated names?
Oh, Lord.
A year?
I don't know, Carol. Depending on how many people we get to work on the committee and how diligently they work, it could take a year
That was my discussion with Steve Alford. It could be a full year before.
or more.
Yeah.
But it really doesn't make a difference how long it takes, as long as it's done correctly.
And once you get all the names, then you'll have them engraved on the
That's correct.
monument.
Mhm.
Mhm. Very good.
Okay.
And then finally, Steve, I think
Yes,
our
Tim.
file's downstairs, and Steve Alford, correct me if I'm right or wrong here, but don't we pretty much, Dale and Fault, have everyone's birth here from South Kingstown, just for a starting point? Birth date, who was born in South Kingstown. Isn't that a fairly complete file?
In order to receive a veteran's exemption, they many times are required to put their DD 214 on file. So I think that would probably be the starting point, is that we would go through those and, you know, compile a list from the ones that we already have on record, and then we would go out and advertise for additional ones for people who haven't put their DD 214s and give them a deadline in which to file it with us so that we can certify it. And then once we have the list compiled, and we think that we've had enough time to do that, and we compile the list, we will advertise for accuracy, and then we'll go from there.
Thanks.
I just have a question. If there is someone that, you know, meets all of the qualifications and they can't put their finger on their DD 214 and they haven't registered it in the town hall, how can they then apply for or search and get a copy of their DD 214? Does anyone have an answer?
There's a process you can go through online
Online.
that can get it.
All right, that's helpful. Thank you, Steve. Well, I'm thrilled this is happening.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Notify all the organizations,
And it's not a process that we will have to interview these people. We're going to leave it up to, right, okay. Just wanted to clarify that. This is good.
All right, so I'll make a motion that we reestablish the Saugatucket Veterans Memorial Park Commission in order to compile and certify additional names for inscription on the memorial, and that we direct the town clerk to notify the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the American Legion, the VVA 325, the Ladies Auxiliary, VFW, and the fifth member would be a citizen. And so we're going to hear back from you, Steve, as to the scope and the term, and Dale will notify the organizations. That's my motion.
Second.
We have motion and second. Any further discussion? Any further comments, Steve? We're good?
No, we're good, thank you.
All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries 400.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is comments from interested citizens. And before I open it to the public, I just again wanted to state that Educational Exchange graduation was just phenomenal. And I also wanted to give kudos to South Kingstown High School for their wonderful graduation exercises that took place on June 16th. Meg and I were able to attend, and it was just another delightful evening. And then, any other comments?
Yes, I'd like to make a comment. Let's see. I'd like to let everybody know, which you probably already know, that Go Local Providence rated South Kingstown High School #2 in the state. They took into their evaluation kneecap and SAT scores, pupil funding, and student-to-teacher ratio, and graduation rates, and I'm happy to say we did very well. In 2013, I think we were ranked #4, so we've gone up, and good job by the high school, all the teachers, students, administration. I think you did a great job.
Okay. I'm sorry, Meg?
That's okay. I also have to state, I had such great privilege to be on the stage for the high school graduation, and I have to tell you something. Those kids were unbelievably impressive. What a phenomenal group of students that graduated from the class of 2014. My mind was blown away. I can't tell you how proud all of the parents should be of every single one of those children. They did a phenomenal job. And the second thing I wanted to mention, we had 2 awards that were given out here in South Kingstown. Ella could probably speak to it a little bit more, but for the collaborative, the Coalition for Children in town, Scott Mueller, who has served on the school committee for a very long time, got a very distinguished recognition. Very proud to see that. Ella also received a wonderful, wonderful recognition for her help in working with the children of our town. So we have a lot to be proud of here, and I feel very proud, not only as a parent, but as a council member, to serve a community that's just as successful as South Kingstown. I couldn't be more pleased.
Thank you, Meg. I'd also like to sing the praises of Scott Miller with the community award that he received. It's just unbelievable, the work that he's done, and very grateful to have him on our school committee and the work that he's done for the community. So it is a true honor. Jim?
I certainly want to echo what Carol and Meg said about the performance of our school system. Very impressive, absolutely impressive, and a great job done by all. I also wanted to take a minute to have the council and the town reflect on what I'd like to just call a wonderful tribute to the life of Vincent Saravo, known as Cy, who died back on June 5th. and obviously an incredibly successful businessman, a member of the community. And I know at the very beginning, Belmont Fruit Company, and then he had unbelievable real estate foresight. He reshaped, frankly, the South Kingstown, South County landscape. But more important than that was, beside his hard work, was his generosity. His generosity to the South County Hospital, to the visiting nurses, VNS, is just phenomenal. And that same generosity continues with his family today. Any of you that go to the Belmont Market, you'll see banners and representatives of every imaginable organization out there, which he allows to use on a weekly basis. Charities, obviously, all their representatives. It's just phenomenal. Promoting nothing but worthwhile causes for this town. And that's indirect, but directly the Saravo family, and especially Cy Saravo, gave incredible sums of money. The generosity was just phenomenal to just unmanageable how many causes. It's almost overwhelming. But what is so great about that kind of legacy is that now continues with his family. And so condolences to the family, and what a wonderful man, and a great success, and frankly a great business hero for South Kingstown.
I'd like to echo all of those words, Jim. And hopefully everyone's getting ready for our 4th of July celebration. So, all right, the microphone is open for comments from the public. Please come forward and state your name. I think the town council talked too much. Seeing there's none, I'm going to move on to town manager's report. Actually, Steve, could I just, I'm sorry, could I just bring one more comment that I received? Just a concern that I got today, and I didn't get a chance to talk to you about, the traffic on Main Street with the gas line being put in by National Grid, and possibly is there any way that we could close down, like no parking in a certain, or the area they're working on, so that the traffic can still continue, you know, back and forth? So it was just a phone call I got today. I'm just passing it on. Because I hear it's going to continue until through July and August. Is that true?
No, at this point, I believe the remainder of the job will be going down to Bell Block. I'm not sure that there's any line other than that at this point. I think it's a two-edged sword. If you were to take out the parking, you disrupt the people that are going to be using the stores. What the traffic pattern has been is a single lane remains open, and it's an alternating single lane. The most that somebody's going to be held up in that line is 5 to 7 minutes. So we have not really had a number of complaints as far as the construction activities. I would suggest that we could probably create more problems by having two-way traffic and no parking on the street than if we continue. I think that they should be completed. John, what have you got, another week or so that they would be there?
Yes. I was in that.
All of the work is completed other than the line going to Bell Block at this point, and that would be from Robinson Street. There may be some lateral work that's going to be necessary, but that'll be on a limited basis. That's on a state road. It didn't go through any local permit process with the town. The only thing we've done is to manage it through traffic control. You know, if you want us to take a look at that type of parking situation, I could have the police look at it. But my initial reaction would be that it would create greater disruption for that downtown business district, other than the 5 to 7 minute wait that occurs right now.
I got the phone call actually walking into the town hall. So that's when that phone call came in. And so it's not going to continue into July and August? No.
I can't
Okay.
imagine.
About a week? Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
I mean, that's close to July, though.
Yeah. Not August, though.
Unfortunately.
Not August. Okay. Town manager's report.
The only item I wanted to reference was the memorandum that I provided to the council on the final certification for the property tax levy for the year. As noted in the documentation, the tax rate will increase by 1.2 cents. It is an increase that will take us from $15.47 to $15.48.2. The overall increase is that the tax levy is increasing by $525,000. We have used a $4 minimum on the tax bill, anything that would be a tax bill, mostly for motor vehicles that were there for a limited number of days in the year, that would generate a tax bill of less than $4 will be abated. I don't know if there's any questions. I think I've also mentioned during the budget process that we have changed the elderly tax abatement program into back to a tax exemption program. On the fourth page of the document that I provided, it shows what the value is of each of the tax exemptions, both from a motor vehicle or a real estate perspective. You've got a taxable property roll of $4.1 billion, which is up about $30 million over the prior year, and we will be exempting from taxes about $63 million based on multiple types of exemptions that would be granted under state statute or under local ordinances. I'd be glad to answer any questions on the tax roll if there are any, based on the information that's been provided. We expect the tax bills to be in the mail on or about July 1st. We would hope to have them in everybody's hand before the holiday. The billing system will be no different, other than people will see a difference where the motor vehicle bill will be separate from the real estate bill. Our new billing practice require us to separate those bills so that there will be real estate on one bill and motor vehicles on a second bill.
Jim?
Yes, Steve, that levy is, if my math is right, is that 0.8 of 1%, that 525,000?
It's 0.78%.
Sorry.
78 basis points.
0.78 instead of 8, okay. I was just doing it in my head. And the other thing that any of the folks at home who don't think we're busy here with some of the parking tickets and fines that go out there on page 66 of the police report, I just added up the numbers, Chief, and I saw that in our home area of the Matunic Beach Road, we have about 21 of the 28,000, almost 75% of the monies collected are from that area townwide, so very interesting statistic. And I'll leave it at that, just a commentary.
Very interesting area of town.
Yes, it is.
All set, Steve?
Yes.
Any other questions for Steve? Town Solicitor's report? Any questions for Mike? Appointments? I didn't see any. Does anybody? No. And I was thinking maybe we could do some interviews, maybe for economic development?
Yes.
There's two. Okay. That work for you, Dale? July 14th?
Sure.
Okay. All right, next item on the agenda, I believe, is new business. 13A. This is a resolution establishing a septic discharge rate of $68 per 1,000 gallons effective July 1st, 2014, and amending the town schedule of fees, as further described in a memorandum from the Public Services Director to the town manager dated June 9th, 2014, and entitled Septic Tip Fee Rate Increase. Steve.
In the budget development process, we'd used a figure of $67 per 1,000 gallons deposited. We're recommending that increase to $68. The reason for that is that the cost of tipping or the cost of disposing of the sludge, a portion of the sludge that goes to the central landfill, is going from $65 per ton up to $75. It was not anticipated to go to $75. We are having discussions with Rhode Island Resource Recovery at this point on whether that fee can be delayed a year. But at this point, we would recommend that you set the fee for July 1st at $68. Even if we can get them to hold off on that fee for one more year, I think that we would just simply be going back up to the $68 within the next 12 months. So I'd ask that the council approve as presented in the memorandum prepared by Public Services Director of June 9th.
Thank you, Steve. Could we have a motion, please?
I move approval of new business item A.
Second.
Motion a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. New business 13B is a resolution authorizing an award of bid to Baker and Taylor Incorporated, 2550 West Tavola Road, Charlotte, North Carolina, for the purchase of books for the South Kingstown Public Library from July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2015, in an amount not to exceed $76,000, and is further described in a memorandum from the library director to the town manager dated June 16th, 2014, and entitled Bid Recommendation Books, South Kingstown Public Library.
As noted, there were several proposals that were submitted. The recommendation for the library director is to stay with the existing company, Baker and Taylor, based on the percentage discounts that they are offering in each of the different categories. We're also asking for the authorization up to $76,000 in book sales, which is based on the dollar values that were appropriated for the acquisition of books in the 14-15 budget year.
I move approval of new business item 13B.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, and I'd like to thank Shirley for all of that information that she gave us. Next item is new business D. This is a resolution adopting all enterprise and special revenue funds as presented in the 2014-15 final town council budget approved April 28, 2014, in accordance with the South Kingstown Town Code, Chapter 6, Finance, Article 1, in general, Section 6-1, Financial Management and Procedure. Said funds are identified as followed. It is the Water Enterprise, the Wastewater Solid Waste, Senior Services Program and Special Revenue Fund, Peacedale Office Buildings Special Revenue Fund, and Neighborhood Guild Special Revenue Fund. Finance Director will be responsible for the proper budget administration of all enterprise and special revenue funds. Financial statements of said funds shall be prepared in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles.
All
Steve?
6 of these funds went through the budget process and were adopted by the council as final documents and appropriation levels for the 2014-15 year when the council adopted the budget on, I believe it was April 28th. This resolution is necessary based on the existing financial management procedures ordinance that the town operates with.
I move approval of new business item 13D.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. New business item E is a resolution adopting the chart of accounts and stated appropriations for the 2014-15 fiscal year relative to the administration of the municipal budget program and the major program functions and funding levels in accordance with the South Kingstown Town Code, Chapter 6, Finance, Article 1. In general, Section 6-1, Financial Management and Procedures, as shown on Exhibit 2, attached hereto.
Exhibit 2 presents the organization of the general fund, and this again is required by the financial management and procedures ordinance of the town. The dollar amounts are shown here because under the ordinance we have 10 major program functions. Within each program function, the manager has the authority to be able to move funds around from one department to another. If the manager makes recommendation to move money from general administration, let's say, to public safety, it would require council authorization. The council is the only body that would be able to move dollars from one of the major function areas to another. You're not adopting the dollar amounts, you're actually adopting the budget structure and the coding that is used I'd like to take a look at the ordinance because I think with the new budgetary practices that we have, a lot of the practices that are required are producing a redundancy that really isn't necessary. But I would ask the council, in accordance with the existing ordinance structure, to approve Exhibit 2 as presented, which is a reflection of what the council adopted on April 28th in the budget process.
Thank you, Steve.
I move approval of new business item 13E.
Second?
Motion and second, and I really appreciate if that could get changed. I think it is even confusing to the public. We did pass all this with the budget process, so ready to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 400. Item F is a resolution authorizing an award of bid to JWC Environmental 290 Polarino Avenue, Costa Mesa, California for a JWC Environmental Channel Monster Model number 30005-0012 electrical channel grinder with a rotating screen in an amount not to exceed $19,280, and as further described in a memorandum from the Public Services Director to the Town Manager dated June 16, 2014, and entitled Bid Recommendation, Electric Channel Grinder with Rotating Screen.
2 bids were received for the channel grinder, and this is a piece of equipment that'll be located at the Salt Pond pumping station. The lowest bidder that was submitted has been rejected as not meeting the requirements of the specifications, and there's a long list of items that the proposed item was deficient in. Recommendation is to go with the second bidder, which is JWC, as presented in John's recommendation of June 16th.
Thank you, Steve.
I move approval of new business item 13F.
Second?
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item H is a resolution that available funds of $1 million in Healthcare Reserve Fund shall be transferred to the other Post-Employment Benefit Trust Fund as established by the Town Council on June 23, 2009, as further described in a memorandum from the Finance Director to the Town Manager dated June 17, 2014, and entitled Year-End Reserve Fund Transfers.
In the past, we've looked at the Healthcare Reserve Fund. If there is under expenditures that have occurred from the money that's transferred into the Healthcare Reserve Funds, we would recommend transfers into the OPEB account. I think, as the council is aware, the estimated value, which was last looked at in 2011, will be looked at again in a new actuarial report. For the municipal side, would be approximately $9.8 million. At this time, the trust fund would hold probably in the area between town and school, somewhere in the area of about $3.5 million, I believe. So we're well below what we need to build up. There'll also be a second transfer that will be what the ARC would be for the year, which will be in one of the further resolutions that will be considered tonight. But that money is not necessary in the Healthcare Reserve Fund. Since it was appropriated for healthcare purposes, we believe that the transfer is appropriate at this time. We've also asked the school department to make similar transfers on the assets that they're holding in the Healthcare Reserve Fund, which is based on dollars that have not been expended for direct services.
Steve, has every town in the state set up that OPEB, any kind of irrevocable trust like we have?
No. There are probably 15 that I'm aware of that have set up trusts at this point. Many of the communities are waiting for the Rhode Island Interlocal Trust to act as a agent to be able to establish a OPEB fund that they would manage, and that hasn't come true at this point. But many of the communities have set up the irrevocable trusts. We did ours back in, I think it was 2009.
Right.
2009, and have made full 100%, actually over 100% contributions since the establishment of that fund. And we will be updating what the unfunded liability statement will look at within the next several months.
Great.
I move approval of new business item 13H.
Second.
Ready to vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries 400. Item I is a resolution that program balances identified below in 2013-14 fiscal year appropriations for general fund shall be transferred, it's 101, shall be transferred to the following reserve funds in correspondence not to exceed amounts, and I'm not going to read through them. It's as presented on page 7 of the agenda. And I'm not even going to read through all of the further resolved, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Alfred.
The resolution before you is a resolution that we bring on a yearly basis after review of spending patterns for each of the different departments. We look at where transfers can be made into capital reserve funds or the OPEB itself, where funds are available for transfer. What this does is it minimizes the impact of capital improvement costing in future years. This year, we're looking to provide transfers. As noted in the capital improvement program, many of these items have been referenced, where we're looking at operating fund transfers if there are sufficient dollars at the end of the year. The recommendation, as presented, would show total expenditure transfers of $910,000 to 5 different funds: the town hall improvements, technology improvements, the Public Works Improvement Fund, as well as Public Services Office Building improvements, and the Public Safety or Police Building Construction Fund. It's called a construction fund, but actually it's the reserve fund that we use for improvements that are necessary at the police station. While we still consider the police station a new building, it was first opened in, what, 1990, Vinnie? Not going to wake him.
I don't think he heard you.
So we're talking about in 2000 the opening. So we're at a point where we're about 14 years old at that. So we need to start having the dollars available for general maintenance and obsolescent equipment replacements. So I'd ask the council to approve as presented here with this resolution.
I move approval of new business item 13I.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 400. Steve, your mic's not really picking up that well up here. It is on, right? Yeah, you got it. Okay, J is a resolution that available funds of $250,000 in the general fund unassigned fund balance shall be transferred to the Technology Improvement Fund as outlined in the 2014-15 Capital Improvement Program and adopted by the Town Council on April 28, 2014, and is further described in a memorandum from the Finance Director to the Town Manager dated June 17, 2014, and entitled Year-End Reserve Fund Transfers.
Items J and K, and I can address both of those, are capital improvement program approvals. The council agreed to a $250,000 general fund unassigned balance transfer to the technology fund. This would allow $200,000 to be set aside for the installation of fiber between the municipal buildings for an intranet purpose. The item K, which I'll also address right now, was the EMS billing system, that we would take funds that are held in the billing system to be used for the reconstruction of the garage spaces necessary for the EMS vehicles at the Public Services Building on Route 1. So both of those were a part of the capital improvement program that was adopted by the council at the end of January of this year, and those transfers are now necessary for authorization from the council. So I'd ask the council to consider on items J and K.
I move approval of items 13J and K.
Second.
The motion is second, and Steve and Tricia, and I would just like to thank you for all of the work, putting money aside on behalf of the taxpayers for future, bills and capital improvement plans and the undesignated fund balance. And I know that that was a lot of sacrifice with not filling some positions, and you know, just keeping the eye on the dollars on behalf of our taxpayers, so, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Ready to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 400. Item L is a resolution establishing the following fee schedule for emergency medical services effective July 1st, 2014, and amending the town schedule of fees as further described in a memorandum from the Director of EMS to the Town Manager and Chief of Police dated May 27th, 2014, and entitled EMS Fee Review and Proposed Amendments 2014.
We've been attempting on a yearly basis to do a comparative analysis with other communities as to what the fees are that they're charging for EMS-directed services. What we then do is to try to look at the average and then come up with us to be at the midpoint of where those rates are. This is a recommendation to make adjustments to our existing fee schedule that would then be handled by our billing company in terms of dealing with third-party providers, whether it's insurance companies or the federal government. That's not to suggest that any of these rates are guaranteed that we would be paid this, because in the case of Medicare and Medicaid, each of those have billing reimbursement rates that are substantially below what these rates are. In many cases, this would be dealing where there was insurance companies involved that would be paying for services. It's also important to note that persons without medical insurance or not eligible for federal subsidies, that we would not be sending additional billing to them directly. So there is this is the fee schedule that goes where there is insurance availability based on the services that have been rendered. But it's a fee target rather than a guaranteed payment.
Where are we with the uncollectibles at the moment?
I would say that we collect, what, about $900,000 a year. We bill about $900,000 a year, and I think it's half of that would be written off, Jim.
Okay.
Steve, did I just hear you say this was for insurance, collectible insurance settlements mostly, not, what about?
That or Blue Cross payments, if
Right.
somebody had insurance, that's what we would
But if you
do.
don't have insurance, would you receive the bill for the same service?
That would be an uncollectible if they didn't have insurance. We would send the bills, they would receive a bill as to what the cost of service was,
Mhm.
but the money would be written off.
Unless they paid it, obviously.
I mean, all the municipalities do the same thing.
Mhm. Thank you.
Okay, could we have a motion, please?
I move approval of new business item 13L.
Second?
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries 400. Are there any last-minute items for the good of the order? Seeing none, could we please have a
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 400. We are officially adjourned at 9:05. Thank you.